Hey, how you doing? How's everybody doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. Wow, this is the first time I I, I got so many people before I even started. Whoa, didn't mean to hit that, but I'm clumsy. So for first, oh wow, Genuine Comics is here. Everybody check. Oh, and Marcus is on it. Nice, nice, Marcus. Perfect 10. This is Genuine Comics. I can't wait. Man, those look good. Those look good. Excellent. Yeah, he is another guy. Genuine Comics is another guy who gets it. He likes his comics. I can't wait to read all four of them. Who else we got here? We got Haldir. Haldir, if I remember correctly, you're in Winnipeg. Is that you? Is that correct? How's it going up there? And then Marcus, thank you. I keep talking to people who tell me, they that they like my content, but I need to be more of a salesman, which I'm kind of uncomfortable at. So, God, this I'm trying to wake up. But Heroic Tales is my upcoming comic. You gotta see the colored pages coming in. Oh my God, they're so good. Sooner rather than later, I'll be creating the Fund My Comic page, and we could all sign up and marvel at Renzo's artwork and Daniel's colors. Oh, it's gonna be so good. Gonna be so good. I can't wait. And yes, get the Heroic Tales Tumblr at John's Long Box. Yes, thank you, Marcus, for putting that up. I sold a few of them. At first, it was funny because last Sunday people told me that it was too cheap. It's like, oh no, I keep hitting this freaking tripod. I'm wearing a Snuggie because I'm cold, and the bottom part I gotta pull it up. Okay, there we go. Everybody's telling me that it's too cheap. It's too cheap, and nobody was buying them. But now they're starting to move. So cool. They'll also be available as an add-on when I put up my comic. Hey, Abrax, good morning. Also, like and subscribe. I've been told I got to start saying stuff like that. Like and subscribe, like I got a boss. But people have been saying, it's nothing. There's nothing wrong with being a little bit of a salesman. Nothing wrong with being a little bit of a salesman. So, like, subscribe, share. Get your friends involved. Go into your mother's pocketbook and take out money and buy tumblers. Isn't that what Soupy Sales did? Hey, Kevin Ryan, how you doing? He's just Kevin Ryan. You might think he's somebody else, but no, he's just Kevin Ryan. Let's see. Did I get everybody? Do I sound good? Look good? How's everybody? How's everybody on this cold, miserable Sunday morning? I'm in New York. It is just like it's just miserable. Dreary, I guess is the best word. Just cold and dreary. Yes, I'm in Winnipeg. It's been cold the last week, but it's warming up. 9 Fahrenheit. Oh my God. Do you work inside? I work outside. So, oh man, it's just bad. It's just terrible. And as normal, hail Winnipeg. And here is my Tim Hortons coffee with disgusting drippings all over the side. Okay, Haldia, my wife lives in a place called the Burger Place. She talks about it all the time. She wants to drive back to Winnipeg or fly back to Winnipeg just to go to the Burger Place. And you know what? I totally understand because I lived in Albuquerque for 7 years, and I would like to go to Albuquerque to go to the Frontier Diner. Oh my God, do I love the Frontier Diner. So it's Marcus says it's sunny here in Charlotte, but it's cold. Yeah. What's the temperature, Marcus? And Lacey Lee, she's up by Hyperborea up there in the north. Yeah, it's cold up there. How cold, Lacey? What's the temperature? And then Pete Rock's gonna rub it in our face. He's in Arizona. What's the temperature out there, Pete? What's the temperature out there? We can't marvel at Reno's artwork. That's trademark. Oh, a little bit of pun. Is that a pun? Is that technically a pun? No, that's not a pun. That's wordplay. That's wordplay. Not a pun. Okay, just curiosity. Put your just put your state. You don't need to put your state, province, or whatever, and your temperature. I'm just curious. It's 25 up from 17. Yeah. Okay. It's just cold. Now, do you remember? I know Pete grew up. It's only 50 today. Not bad. I know Pete grew up in New York. Anybody like on the East Coast in the New York area remember when they were a kid? It always seemed like there was snow. Like once Thanksgiving was over, to like March, it just seemed like there was constantly snow. So, now there's not a lot of snow. Is it my memory? Whatever. Typical. Oh, you're typical Vermont. -10. Jeez. We got 7 degrees over here. My wife is out running in that cold. I work inside. Fortunately, it's only 10-minute walk. Oh, that's not bad. You see, I'm a construction worker, so I'm outside all day long. And my wife teases me, but she understands. I come home. I come down in the basement, and I got one of those split units, those Fuki Shumo, whatever they're called. I got one of those, and I turned it on, and I wrapped myself up in my Superman Snuggie. You could see my sleeve, just because when you're out 8 hours, even more, because lunch. So it's like 10 hours. I'm outside in the cold. I just want to come home. I want to be like overly warm, and in my business, I get 10 weeks off a year. Not that I get 10 weeks, because I don't get paid for those 10 weeks. So it's called furlough. So it's 10 weeks furlough. And after a couple of days, I guess I adjust to being warm inside. I go outside. I'm like, oh my God, how do I do this? But it's amazing what you get used to. Okay, so we got 7 people watching. How's everybody doing? The Sunday Comics is starting to become my favorite thing that I do on this channel. Unless somebody that I had on in an interview is in the chat, in which case your interview is my favorite thing. But I'm really digging this, because it's like this is exactly, because I never imagined when I started the channel, I never thought I would be making a comic. I always wanted to, but I never thought I would. And I never thought I would be having guests, much less comic legends, on my channel. This is exactly what I thought my channel was going to be. Talking to the 5, 6, 7. Now I got 10 people interacting, talking about comics. So this is it. This is my favorite. The pre-recorded videos is how I had to start. 10-minute. I was told a 10-minute video once a day is what YouTube is looking for. So that was my model going forward. But now this is what I've always imagined. Okay, a lot of what do I see here? Barkus says he remembers snow. Did I say this for -12 -2 windshield? Yeah. Do I collect unemployment on furlough? Yes, I do. But you know what? I make pretty good money. I'm not bragging. I'm just stating the fact. I don't have any children, and then my wife also works. We bought a small, modest house. Except for comic books, I live within my means. So, but it's not like it's a surprise. By the 3rd week in January, they tell you what the furlough is going to be for the year. So you prepare. You're going to be off for 10 weeks. Work some overtime. Make a comic book, make $1 million. Yeah, right. My grandmother was from Vermont. I'm thinking about moving to New Hampshire. Lacey, I don't know. Are you laughing at me? Hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you, Marcus. Marcus is not just my moderator, but he's most likely going to be a work collaborator. And everybody else is saying hello to each other. Thank you. So let's get this going. I'm going to pull back a little bit, or I guess. So this is the Avengers, and 15 cents. So somebody resold this for 15 cents. This is the Earth's mightiest superheroes. That became the tagline. Can the combined powers of the Avengers defeat the sinister spells of Loki, god of evil? Loki, prepare for battle. The Avengers, bah, I'll destroy you. Look how old it is. But yeah, Iron Man is in the golden armor. Superheroes, supervillains, super thrills, prevented. It's prevented. Presented in the fabulous Marvel manner. And look at Ant-Man and the Wasp. Glorious Jack Kirby cover. Yep. They used to write the covers. Yes, I don't know how many comics I have that were written on. And I thought I'd show you this. So I bought this in December 2000 for $350. So you tell me, did I get a good deal? I'm getting all the feelings from past Master Dan. Wow, that is tough to say. Hey, Nick, check your DMs, Nick. Nick is going to probably come on, and we're going to discuss one of my favorite stories of all time. I sent you the issue numbers. Marvel Team Up. I think it's 82 to 85. Just one of my favorite stories. It's actually my first video on this channel was Marvel Team Up 82. I just love that. I love that Kirby Hulk. Yeah, Kirby makes the Hulk look like a Frankenstein monster. You know. Got to take another sip of coffee. Got to wake up my brain. The comment about if. Oh, okay. Lacey appreciates my humor. Can't see the top. Is this? Yes, this is number 1 right there, Pete. This is the very first Avengers. Kind of, Pete, you and Allison kind of inspired me to do this for Sunday Comics. For those of you who don't know, Allison and I were friends since 3rd grade. We went to school together, grew up together, and then, like most people, went to different colleges together. So we kind of lost track of each other. We had like a grammar school reunion, and we got back in touch, became friends again. She introduced me to her husband, who is Pete. And it's funny because it's like me and Allison have been friends for like 25 years at this point. And then she introduces me to Pete. Me and Pete are sitting at the table like fast friends talking about heavy metal, comic books, and board games and everything. While Allison is just like walking around, like rolling her eyes, like, what did I do? What did I do? And then Pete goes and moves. It was very hurtful. He becomes friends with me and says, I need to get out of this state. I got to get away from this guy. Imagine my disgust when I found out that newsstands ripped off the covers to get their refunds. Yes. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking, what past Master Dan is talking about, I will demonstrate by ripping the cover off. No, comic books or periodicals. They went to the newsstand, and after you see the date over here, September. This is the date that you returned the comic. This isn't the date that it came out. We'll see when we open up when I open up and I show you the indicia. It came out at a different date. September was to let the newsstand guy return this and get the credit. Now it wasn't cost effective to return the whole comic because then you had to mail it back. So what you did was you just ripped off the cover, and you sent back. Or you gave it to the news agent. I don't remember exactly how you did, and for every cover you got credit. So theoretically, it could be very profitable to sell magazines and comics because all you had to do, I think, was lay out the initial investment, for the first month, and then everybody, every other, as long as they weren't stolen, you'd make money sooner or later. Now, then you would have what they called 5-cent comics. You'd go to like unscrupulous newsstand people, and they would sell you 5-cent comics that were just, they already got the credit for them, and they'd sell them for 5 cents with no cover, and that was the pure profit. And that was for kids who just wanted to read the comics. That I never bought a coverless comic, not on purpose. People have given them to me, but I will never buy one, not because of ethical reasons, but because I need a cover. My bet is can beat Loki. Shh, no spoilers, Kevin. I do, yes. Oh, we just got married. Thank you. Let Abrax and my wife know that. That's the Nick Fury poker game. Pete's pretending he didn't move to get away from me, but we all know the truth. Spring is one day closer. Yes. Stolen Van Skyver. Oh, I don't get the joke, but okay. All right. So with much further ado, let's check out this cover. Thor, Ant-Man, Hulk, Iron Man. So Marvel and DC are no fools, or at least they used to not be fools. I think today fools is probably an upgrade for what they are. But after the, what was it? Gardner Fox told I think it was Gardner Fox, or I can't even speak. Gardner Fox told Martin Goodman to have a team superhero book, and then Stan Lee came up and Jack Kirby came up with the Fantastic Four. They wanted to recapture lightning in a bottle, and just like the Justice League, they took all of Marvel's big superheroes and put them on a team. So we have, outstanding bestsellers. So we got Iron Man, we got the Hulk, we got Thor, we got Ant-Man and the Wasp. These were all, so between the Fantastic Four and the Avengers, the only characters at this point that weren't in a team book were Spider-Man, and I'm not quite sure if Doctor Strange debuted yet. So let's check out the inside of the cover. And I love this corner box over there. You better believe my comic is going to have a cover box, a corner box rather. Okay, so boys, men, Mike Marvel wants you. Okay, so copyright 1963. Does it have an actual month? I'm just curious. Okay. Oh, wow. September 1963 issue. So I stand corrected. I guess maybe they changed that later on. I got to move things around so my comic doesn't get damaged. And here we go. Oh, Ethan bragged about taking an issue from a store. Oh, okay. I stole exactly one comic in my life, and I'm sure Allison, if she's in the chat, she'll know the story. It was called Spirit of the Dove. So not only did I steal one comic book in my life, I stole it from a religious bookstore. It stole Bibles and rosary beads and stuff like that. But they had a pinball machine in the back, and I remember going in, and on the spinner rack they had Spider-Woman. I forget what issue it was, but it was Spider-Woman and Spider-Man. And I was like, this is important. This is important. And I had no money. So I took that comic just to look at it. Now I'm standing by the pinball machine watching everybody play pinball, and then I noticed the back door's open. So after a while, I just ran out the back door. Never went back to Spirit of the Dove, and it went out of business. I closed a religious bookstore. Yep, as Pete Rock says, one-way ticket to hell. Yep. That and that alone is what's going to condemn me to hell. Not the stuff I did in my 20s and 30s. Marcus Kelligrew says Steve Ditko created the corner box. I did not know that, and I will believe it. I will believe it. Yep, I stole them in Minecraft. Yes, stole them in Minecraft. He's talking about I stole bottle returns from the Coke plant to pay for my comics. Allegedly, yes. Yeah, I allegedly stole that from whatever. So let's look at this wonderful splash page, and if you guys don't mind, I will be moving the camera rather than the comic, and I'm sure you could all understand why. So here we got the coming of the Avengers, the first star-studded series of book length super epics. Now, why are they saying book length? Because a lot of Justice Leagues and a lot of other comics or anthologies, the Justice League being an exception. I don't know why I said the Justice League, but a lot of other comics just had a lot of like 8-page stories and then another story, like the Doom Patrol at this time, but over at DC had like 3 short stories. So this is a book length, meaning the whole comic book is one story, which, big deal if you ask me. That's the format that I love. I don't mind a short story every once in a while, but I love a full comic. No, from the Coke plant on 6th Street. And so the X-Men came out the same. Wow, what a good month. What a good month. I thought the X-Men came out a little bit later. So between Marcus and Kevin, they'll correct everything that I say wrong. Okay, so written by Stan Lee, drawn by Jack Kirby, inking by Dick Ayers, lettering by S. Rosen. Now, if you remember the Sentry, or don't know who I'm talking about, to my way of thinking, and I'm sure this is going to be blasphemy for the people who might, but the Sentry was Marvel's last great creation, and I think that came out around 2005. If any of the people in the chat know the time, and it was a hoax. They said that it was Stan Lee wanted to make a Superman character, and he asked an artist named Artie Rosen to draw some from of the Sentry, and then he forgot about it, and then they found it, and then they made a comic. Now, it was all a hoax. Stan Lee was alive at the time, and he went along with the hoax, thought it was a funny idea. And I remember reading about it, and I'm going, this doesn't seem right, but it sounds familiar. Well, they took the name Rosen from Sol Rosen, and there's another guy, Artie Simek, and they just took 2 familiar names, and they made up Artie Rosen because it sounds familiar, because these two names were part of Marvel history. But it went along brilliantly with the power of the Sentry. If you read that 6-issue series, I thought it was brilliant, and I know a lot of people don't like it, but because it was deceptive, it was a hoax, but it was meta. His power is he's schizophrenic. He kind of you can interpret it two ways, but the Sentry has the power to basically insert his worldview into other people's heads. So he imagined himself to be one of the most important people in the superhero community. He was the best man at Reed Richards' wedding, and all that stuff never happened, but he thought it happened. And he had the ability to psychically make other people think it happened. So why not make it a hoax? It was brilliant. I thought it was really, really good. They weren't nuns. They were business people. They weren't nuns. So that makes the nun from the bookstore wants to talk to you. Yep. Avengers was rushed out and published in Daredevil's spot. Oh, Bill Everett was really late on Daredevil. Oh, okay. That explains, because you could see this kind of looks a little rushed. And, trickery. It's easy to just draw these mountains in this profile for a splash page. So that's one page that you can get done really quick. So what do we have here? I got to move things around. Okay, I'll just move this. So what do we have here? We have Loki up in the air, ranting and raving like a freak. And here we got. See, this is just Marvel doing what Marvel did best. They're filling us all in, because this is Avengers #1. Without doing any research, this was some people's first comic. This was some people's first introduction to these characters. So we're having an establishing shot. We got Loki, and if to talk about Loki, we need Asgard, and this is a real crummy drawing of Asgard, and this is making sense if they said this was rushed out. And here we have Donald Blake. Donald Blake is Thor's secret identity. We went over that last week. And who's that? That's Jane Foster. That's Jane Foster, his nurse. She wasn't an astrophysicist. And here we got Don Blake holding his cane. And what is she saying? This is Loki's eyes over here. He wants to defeat Thor. He doesn't want to defeat Don Blake. So his astral thing. And what does he do? He finds the Hulk. And at this point, Thor never met the Hulk. Sorry for the shaking camera. And now the Hulk. Now, it's funny, because I always argue that the early Hulk flew, because he's supposed to jump. But look, his trajectory's changing. He's jumping. And he sees the dynamite on the tracks, and he goes down. What are the odds that he was going to land there? You know what I mean? If you jump, you just got to land where your jump takes you. But he's changing trajectory and everything. So I don't care what anybody says. The early Hulk flew, and he lands on the tracks. Why? Because the bomb isn't real. It's an illusion created by Loki. And now we got the train. I don't want to shake this camera. It's going to give everybody seasickness. So now the train's coming. And Hulk has got to repair the tracks. I will address the comments every time I turn the page. Okay, so because as everybody can understand, I'm being very, very careful. So now I will address the comments. Hey, Devil Flyer Momentum. Devil Flyer and I are going to have a conversation. What is it? Tuesday? Are we Tuesday? Yes, Avengers #1. That's exactly what this says. We got a lot of hails. Thank you. Hail. And we got Kevin Ryan. Both X-Men Avengers 1 debuted on the newsstands July. Oh, so they did come out in July. Okay, thank you, Kevin, for that clarification. They came out in July. September is when you return them for the credits. Shift your weight. Yeah, but then you just tumble in the air. You don't land. I don't know. Physics is weird. Yes, there's a theory that Kirby drew him flying and Stan didn't like it. There's a Hulk story thrown out. Oh, okay. Tuesday. So those of you who don't know what we're talking about, Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Devil Flyer, Momentum, and myself will have a conversation. Hiya, chat. Hiya, Gray Wolf. Good to see you. I really like saying conversations rather than live streams, because it's a conversation. It's a conversation about comics. So here we got the Hulk is holding up the train tracks. Why? Because Hulk is a good guy. He may be monstrous opinion, but he is a good guy. And the train goes over. Now the news people saw him. If you look, oh my God, the Hulk just wrecked everything, but he doesn't get credit for saving everything. And then after that, the train tracks are garbage. They fall apart, and Loki's laughing. Now immediately, the newspaper comes out. Hulk attacks train, and who's that? That's Rick Jones. Rick Jones is if you remember the Justice League #1, there was Snapper Carl. Snapper Carl was like Human Teen sidekick that was honorary member of the Justice League. You know, he was the beatnik. He spoke like, "Hey man, this is out of Coolsville," and he was snapping his fingers. Rick Jones is the same thing, to the point where I think it was Peter David had it that Rick Jones would call Snapper Carl on the phone, and they would talk about like woe is me about superhero stuff. I thought that was pretty funny. So this is Rick Jones. Who is Rick Jones? Well, the Hulk #1 is another one of the few Marvel big deals that I don't have. And he was the one that he was driving out his car because he's a beatnik. He don't care about nothing. He's fighting the man, and he goes right out into the blasting area of the Gamma bomb. Dr. Robert Bruce Banner, Bruce Banner. Robert Bruce Banner, right? Or David Bruce Banner was the TV show, but Robert Banner runs out. Or Bruce Banner was the comic book, goes out and saves him, and then gets hit in the blast and becomes the Hulk. So he created the Hulk, and you'll see he also created the Avengers. He's like the Forrest Gump of Marvel, and he's been totally ignored in the Marvel movies. So this is now the Teen Brigade. And what does it say? The Teen Brigade was created in Hulk #6, which is my single favorite Hulk comic of all time, which reminds me, maybe I'll do Hulk #6. That's the oldest Hulk comic I have. The Hulk was 1 to 6, and then it was canceled, and then it was enveloped into, what is it? I always forget. Tales to Astonish. So he made this group of teenagers. They basically like today it's like an internet group. So they have ham radios, and they go and they talk to kids all around the world, and they help to help the superheroes. It's a really cool idea. I think a Teen Brigade miniseries would be good. So now, the Hulk didn't do it. He's trying to contact the Fantastic Four to get the Fantastic Four to clear Hulk's name. Now, Loki ain't having any of that. These are the ham radio waves. That's the Baxter Building. Through machinations of Loki, the radio waves disappear and go to the transistor radio on Dr. Donald Blake's desk. Why? Because Loki is trying to manufacture a crisis between Thor and the Hulk. He just wants Thor and the Hulk to fight. He wants Hulk to beat the crap out of Thor, because that's what he does. And look at this. He smashes the stick, and he transforms into Thor. Excellent storytelling. But also, unbeknownst to Loki, Hank Pym, Ant-Man, and Janet Van Dyne, the Wasp, also intercept these. And I love these little guns that they put themselves into these guns, and they get fired. And then these flying ants that, this helmet, and she has a helmet with antennas too. They control the ants, and they land on the ants, and they fly away. It's just great. And as I turn the page, I will address the comments and put down this tripod. So look at all the storytelling. Yes, Devil Flyer Momentum. This is excellent. Anybody who is making a comic, and I don't have to say it to Genuine Comics. I'm sure David Brink, the man behind the curtain of Genuine Comics, I'm sure he knows all this stuff. This is just awesome. This is 101 How to Tell Comics. Words. Thank you. Sign up for Heroic Tales. This is free. I will not spam you. I made a total of 3 posts so far. It's just to keep you up to date with what's going on in my comic. I made 3 posts. I don't want to spam anybody. One of them was by accident, so it's probably just nonsense. It's not probably, it is nonsense, because I was trying to figure out how to work Substack. But sign up for it. Just to let you know what's going on. I won't spam you. Look how different comics used to look. They relied a lot on exposition. Yes, a lot of words. Hey, Ravon Saber, good to see you. Who else we got here? Stanley couldn't remember what was Bob or Bruce, so So it changed randomly. Yes, just like they called Peter Parker Peter Palmer in Spider-Man #1. Amazing Fantasy 15 was the first Spider-Man, and then he got his own comic, and they called him Peter Palmer. Well, those are pretty complicated names for a main character. Yep. I signed up. Oh, thank you, Devil Flyer. Thank you, Devil Flyer. If I was smart, I would have my pint glass to show everybody. You know what? Let me show the pint glass. Give me 1 second. Look at that beautiful artwork. I'm over here just getting the pint glass. I had a board game night last night, and I was drinking out of my pint glass, and my buddy Jimmy bought one, and I'm such a bad salesman. I was going to give it to him for free, and I'm like, no, I got. So here it is, Heroic Tales, and then you can see it's got the patriarch, his chest symbol on his chest emblem on one side, and the plan going forward, if my comic is successful, is I want to make a Heroic Tales pint glass with a different color, and then the symbol for every character. So you'll get the whole set. Collect them all. How is that? Am I getting Nick? Are you watching? Am I getting to be a better salesman? So what we have here now is Tony Stark, and Larry Lieber came up with the name Anthony Stark. He told me the story personally. That he came up with the name Anthony Stark, and he hates when he's called Tony Stark. He's like, Tony Stark makes you pizza. Anthony Stark makes this and runs a company. So this I always called nonsense on. It's comic book stuff, but even as a kid, this bothered me. So he's got this suitcase. So at this point in Anthony Stark's, and out of respect for Larry Lieber, I will always refer him to Anthony Stark from now on. He's wearing the armor on his chest. Why? Because that chest has electrodes in it directly into his heart to keep his heart beating. Remember, he has shrapnel in his chest. If he takes off the armor, he dies. And I love the weaknesses that Marvel puts into their superheroes. They make sense. The Fantastic Four doesn't really have weaknesses, but they got like psychological weaknesses, and plus they're not godlike powers. And Tony Stark, I just swore an oath. Forgive me, Larry. Anthony Stark, he's got the shrapnel in his chest. He will die if he takes off his armor. Thor, if he's not touching his hammer for 60 seconds, he loses his strength. Just so cool. The Hulk, he can't control the transformations, and then the Hulk used to be like a bestial monster of rage. At this point, he has a lot of his intellect, but he is almost like he's sinister. So he opens up the suitcase, and all the armor is like cloth. It's like flexible, and then when he turns it on, he hits a magnet that polarizes it and becomes super iron. I don't know. Maybe it's more realistic now, but as a kid, I thought it was crazy. Mainly because it's so clunky looking. And here's the Team Brigade realizing that he's talking to Mr. Fantastic, and I love Ben Grimm. Phooey. Every time there's something heavy to be lifted on here, blah, blah, blah. So the thing's complaining. Sue is vaguely doing nothing. The Human Torch is just like, let's go fight the Hulk. And Reed Richards says, we can't do it. We're in the middle of an experiment. But according to Who's Watson Framstat's Magic Science, we know that other people have intercepted your message. So, they should have just not addressed the Fantastic Four. They shouldn't have said, because to me that diminishes the Four. Oh, we know Hulk's on a rampage, but other people are dealing with it. That's not the way superheroes behave. But Stan Lee and Jack Kirby wanted an appearance of the Fantastic Four in this comic to help boost sales. So these, if you ask me, these 4 panels are just marketing. So here's Thor talking to the Team Brigade. Iron Man shows up talking to the Team Brigade, and Ant-Man and the Wasp. You know what I mean? And they go in front of the camera. So I will turn the page, and then I will address the comments. So, okay. I'm sorry about moving the tripod around. I'm sure everybody can understand the necessity of touching, of not dealing with the comic as much as possible. So, what do we got here? I've been retweeting signups and book campaigns on Twitter. I don't really know how Twitter works, but I hope it does. Thank you. Every bit helps. Don't overthink it. I assume that's talking about Anthony's armor. Devil Flyer launches February 3rd. Good for you. What format is it going to be on Fund My Comic, Indiegogo, Kickstarter? How are you going to do it, Devil Flyer? I know we're going to talk Tuesday, but you struck my interest. Got to wonder how serious Kirby felt about Marvel and those are. I think he was all in. He was all in. Also, keep in mind that this is a good comic. This was the Marvel method at this point. What was the Marvel method? The Marvel method was Stan probably said to Jack Kirby, let's have a team up book with Thor, Iron Man, Ant-Man, and the Wasp. And, we'll get them together because Loki will manipulate the Hulk and it'll backfire and they'll form a team. I almost guarantee you that was it. Stan went and drew this entire comic. And then Stan, once all the artwork is done, he writes the dialogue. So Stan usually comes up with a concept, a germ, maybe an index card full of ideas, and then Steve Ditko, Jack Kirby, John Buscema, Gene Colan, all of the original guys, they would draw the entire comic, and then Stan would write the dialogue. And sometimes, what was her name, Flo Steinberg, Stan's secretary, would actually write the dialogue. And what it did is it allowed, because Stan was one man, the top of funnel conundrum that Nick was explaining to me. He was only one man. He was the weak point in this chain. He had 10 artists working for him. So he would give 10 artists, here's the idea. They would go and do it. And then he would come and the storytelling had to be so good because this would be months later. Stan would see these comics and then he would have to write the script. So that's the Marvel method. So in reality, Jack Kirby, Stan Lee, Gene Colan, Bill Everett, all the originals, John Buscema, these guys wrote and drew the comics, and Stan plotted and did dialogue, more or less. It's blurry, and that's one of the reasons why Stan Lee and Steve Ditko and Jack, that's why a rift started. That's why Steve Ditko left. That's why Jack Kirby left, and I just got threatened. If you call him Tony Stark again, I'm getting my Mighty Marvel Marching Society membership card revoked. Don't do that. Don't do that. When you say as a kid, though, when you say as a kid, I thought, did you read these early ones in reprints? Because I never was able. Yes. Yes, I read these in reprints. Yeah, they did a pretty good job. At the library, they had these little small collected. That's how I discovered Stan Lee. That's how I discovered Doctor Strange. I read a lot of these in reprints. I only got this in 2000. I showed that at the beginning of the year. So Devil Fire, you're going to be on Fund My Comic. So am I. Luke Stone owns Fund My Comic. I trust that guy. I trust him not to shadow ban us. I trust him not to mess with the algorithms. So I don't trust Indiegogo. Indiegogo's a bigger platform. That's just a stating a fact. But I don't trust their algorithms. And I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's just say it's a mistake. Let's just say there's an accident. Who do I talk to? When I go to Fund My Comic, I can talk directly to the Cookie Monster. Oh, that's not the Cookie Monster. I can talk to Luke Stone himself. Let the words flow. Oh, pretty clever play on words. So let's look at this. So Loki over here, now what's he doing? He's creating illusion of the Hulk. And Thor is like, wow, look at this. So he's running out, doing a good guy thing. And keep in mind, Thor never met the Hulk before. And somebody said a comment that I wanted to address. That I accidentally. Oh, Marcus said it. Fake news. Yes, the newspaper's printing fake news. Well, did Hulk attack the rail? No, he didn't. He was trying to save it from what he thought was dynamite bombs. So yes, fake news. Absolutely fake news. He throws the hammer through him and he realizes he's being deceived. So now Thor, one of the things about Thor is he's not a dummy. Thor is super intelligent. He's also a doctor. And remember, when you're a doctor in comic books, you're every type of doctor. They always show him as a general practitioner. but then he's doing surgery and everything like that. So if you're a doctor in comic books, you're every type of doctor. You could do surgeries, you could do cancer research, you could do whatever. Reed Richards is a scientist. What kind of scientist? A comic book scientist. Therefore, he could do everything. You know, Henry Pym started out as a I always get these words mixed up, etymologist or entomologist, whichever one studies insects, and now he's creating Ultron robots and cosmic ray guns and everything like that. It's just funny. So he realizes he's being deceived. Only Loki could do this. You know, and again, whoever said Expedition, this is Expedition Monster. So meanwhile, the real Hulk is dressing up as a clown, pretending to be a robot and working for the circus. The Hulk literally ran away to join the circus. You know, he's it's like childlike, right? At this point in 1963, you know, didn't kids want to run away to join the circus? I always thought the circus was creepy, but what have you? That's why all the entomology. Thank you, entomology. So that's what this childlike Hulk is actually doing, turning the page, and I will address the comments. So I will, okay. Origins of Marvel Comics was a good place to read. Yes, Origins, for those of you who don't know, that Marvel and DC, I don't know so much about DC, but Marvel got a deal with Simon & Schuster and got hardcover books in bookstores, and Stan was very proud of it. Origins of Marvel Comics, the Silver Surfer graphic novel, How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way, Son of Origins, and Marvel Women. And a lot of them were a great place to read. Matter of fact, that's probably where I read these early comics. I think early Stan would write a plot out, but eventually it would be offy. I don't know what offy means, but I think we're agreeing that's yes. Stan would write a plot out or orally give it out or just type it out on an index card and hand it up. I always felt Thor was depending upon who was depending upon like plot needs, Thor was what's the Schrodinger's genius, And then what do we have over here? It takes me back to Hook's drugstore, standing in the spinner rack. The Marvel Saga. Marvel Saga was a comic that came out, I think, in the early 90s, that told all of Marvel Comics history as in one story. I have it. I never read it. It's actually in this pile of stuff to read. Marvel Saga. Okay, so let's get back to this. We got the freaks over here in the circus. She's looking a lot like the Scarlet Witch, and then Hulk. They just talk about this guy is great. Look at this one-man show. Look at him go. Wow. And unbeknownst to the Hulk, an ant sees this. This I always call BS on. The ant sees it and reports back to Ant-Man that the Hulk has been spotted. Now, unless what they needed was a little bit more exposition over here. What they needed was Ant-Man telling all the ants, to look for the Hulk and sending like a mental image of what the Hulk, what I mean? But this is giving an ant too much intelligence. But what do I know? So they see it and now they're off. They're off. And here's the Hulk robot, it's supposed to be a robot. And then the floor caves in because the ants all dig under, weakening it. And then the Hulk caves in. Pretty crummy. Hulk wasn't bothering anybody. But remember, the fake news made it seem like Hulk was a bad guy. So let's check out the comments. Maybe they got Smiller to play Thor. Reed Richards got his money because he's a patent on the letter E. Yeah, I know you're joking, but there's Reed Richards is fabulously wealthy because he patented a lot of his inventions. Or I think one story they said that the government bought a lot of. They suppressed them because it would just like change the whole economy of the world. Taking a sip. Oh, Stippling Vaughn is here. Stippling Vaughn. I think we're going to be talking real soon, next week, right? The Marvel Saga was the late 80s. Yes. J. Jonah Jameson was MSNBC before they became fake news. I'm going to disagree. MSNBC was always fake news. And Stippling Vaughn says, hey guys. So now Hulk is a little pissed. He flies off and he sees Ant-Man. And what are they doing? They're talking through a microphone because supposedly, you can't hear it. But that's a little bull because you see this is supposed to be a microphone or an amplifier for his voice. So he realizes now that he's being under attack, and he's like, nothing can stop me. And the ants are gnawing away at this. So this metal canister lands on them. The people are eating it up. They think it's part of the show. You know, they can't see Ant-Man. They just think Hulk is just going nuts. And look at that, the Frankenstein brow and everything like that. The ants over here. No background. Note that no background. We always talk about this, how all the backgrounds have a different color. These are the only two that seem to have the same color, but there's so much of this cloud, and it's almost like it's one panel. So that's how they got away with it, you know. So he just happens to be this bellows over here, and he sprays it, and the pressure knocks out the wasp. I love the fingernails. I love that. So I'll leave this on here while I address the comments on that horribly creepy Mickey Mouse. Okay. Reed's in on it. I knew it. Yes, he's part of the industrial military complex. Literally, he is, you know. So what it do, geek? Oh, okay. I skipped a comment. Hi, everyone listening at work. Love these Sunday comics. Yes. The like I said, these are becoming my favorite, except when I talk to Devil Flyer Momentum and Stippling Vaughn. What do we got here? I always call it BSNBC. Yeah. Everything annoys the Hulk. That is absolutely the truth. No broadcasting credibility. Repairs to the Baxter building kept Reed broke. And then there was a comic called 4, which was a spin-off of Marvel of Fantastic Four. In that you know, as part of the Fantastic Four, Ben Grimm was getting money, and Ben Grimm just set up an account. It basically was living on a little bit of a stipend, and the money just went an account, and he was super rich, you know. And then they kind of did away with that. Yeah, this is the smart Hulk. You know, Hulk has he changes a lot. You know, he's smart, he's dumb, he's gray, he's whatever. Which I think they wonderfully explained by Bruce Banner being bipolar, and the state of his emotional state at the moment of transformation is what creates the current Hulk. Brilliant. I love that. Wasn't the Baxter building a ship as well? Yes, it had it was lined with, like, depending upon the story, it had rockets or it had anti-gravity metal, and it could be released and fly off into space, you know, to protect the top 5 floors, to protect the rest of the people from you know, experiments gone awry or supervillain attacks. So here comes Iron Man in the Golden Gladiator armor. Now keep in mind, what was it? The original Iron Man armor was like gray and heavy and leaden. It wasn't lead, but it looked like lead. And I think that only lasted one appearance. And I think in Iron Man's second appearance, they colored it gold because I think they decreed that it wasn't heroic looking enough, which is fine because Iron Man is always inventing and always improving. You know, and nowadays we kind of goof on this armor, but it's charming in its own way. So, you know, Hulk is trying to jump away, and he gets caught in the big top nets, you know, but that doesn't stop the Hulk. He rips off the whole big top, you know, causing problems. And, you know, again, this is the first time they're meeting the Hulk. So they're not, and this is a world with supervillains, you know what I mean? So it's not that difficult to accept that the Hulk might be a bad guy, you know. And then look at that. I'm just going to close in on that. That is just horrible. You buy that for children that you don't like. Okay. Okay. Oh, I'm so glad this showed up. So this is Strange Tales Annual. Number 2. Strange Tales was the home of it was, I think the first 100 issues was basically it was Steve Ditko's stomping ground. And it was all horror, suspense, science fiction. It was an anthology, I think, between 3 to 4 stories, depending upon the issue. And Steve Ditko always had like the main story. Around 100, they switched it to the Human Torch, and I think it was Dick Ayers was drawing it, and then the backup was still Steve Ditko doing horror stories. Forgive my cough. And then by issue 112 or 110 rather, they tried out Doctor Strange, and then that became a hit. And then later on, they removed the Human Torch. He just went back into the Fantastic Four, and Strange Tales became 50% of it was Doctor Strange, and the other 50% was Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. But look at this. So this is Strange Tales. This is a Jack Kirby cover. Jack Kirby could never draw Spider-Man. Look at that. So even though Jack Kirby did not draw the interiors, he was Marvel's biggest star, so he drew the covers. And look at that. That is just awful. That he doesn't even have the spider on it. As much as I love Steve Ditko, I'm not going to lie. So I will put the camera here and I will address the comments. You just gave an idea for the movie Fantastic Four. Let me just say this. I watched the Fourth Age with RJ this week, and they talked about he and I trust him. RJ's not fake news. That he saw an interview with one of the executives, and they said that one of the most important parts of the new Fantastic Four movie is a commitment to diversity. So I feel like a battered girlfriend. I will never get my Fantastic Four movie. I will never get my good Fantastic Four movie. I am pre-disappointed. Okay, don't damage my comic. This is yours. This is yours. Perfect way to make them heroes. Got to write this down. We never got a courtship of Eddie's Father Hulk crossover episode. Yeah, Bill Bixby meets Bill Bixby. Oh, that would be great to have Lou Ferrigno beat up Bill Bixby. Oh yeah, here we go. Sign up for Devil Flyer. See, same thing. He's got his. You see, all of us comic book people got to be hustling. Got to be hustling. Yeah, and yep, thank you, Marcus. I'll put this back up again. Give everybody time. Give everybody time. And you could always scroll up and check it out. Look at that Hulk. My idea would be the start of the MCU. Yes, the problem is the Fantastic Four rights were owned by Sony at the time the Iron Man movie came out. So they couldn't do the Fantastic Four until just recently. Right around the time when they made the Spider-Man movie, did they make it? No. It was when Disney bought Fox. Yes. So the Fantastic Four movie, in my opinion, is DOA. Yes, I absolutely agree. Yep. And other people seem to agree with me. So let's check this out. So, they are establishing that Hulk doesn't fly, but I'm calling BS because, again, Hulk could change his trajectory and do curls in space as he's flying. If you're jumping, you just jump. If you shoot a cannonball, it doesn't change trajectories in space unless you have projectile, jets and stuff. But Iron Man is truly flying. He lands. Look at this. You see exactly what's going on. He hits him right in the breadbasket. Boom! Oh, look at that. I love that. Hulk is jumping away. Hulk doesn't suffer fools lightly. He's not a bad guy, but he is angry all the time. And Iron Man is just like, oh my God, I just got pasted in the breadbasket. And over here we got Thor going to Odin. I love Odin. I love Odin in mythology. I love Odin in comics. Every year, for like 3 years in a row, I dress up as Odin in Halloween. So I love Odin. And spoiler alert, if my comic is successful, I will be doing an Odin-centered comic. Okay, I've been, that I'll say that's all I'll say. No spoilers. And I'm always a little vaguely disappointed when YouTubers and comic book people promise something and then they can't deliver. So I will not. But if successful, I will have an Odin-centered comic. All right. And then what is Thor doing? He knows. He ain't no fool. He knows Loki is behind all of this. So let's turn the page gingerly and let's address these comments. Sorry about the shaky camera. Have a blessed day, everybody. Oh, are you signing out or are you signing in? For some reason, they never got Dr. Doom right. Yeah, well, they never got the Fantastic Four right. Like this is just one of my pet peeves. You guys know better than Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Stan Lee and Jack Kirby are going to be a part of American history. They are going to be part of American history. I guarantee you, 200 years from now, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby will still be known. 200 years from now, the executives who made those decisions about the Fantastic Four, nobody knows their name now. Yes, okay, I got some backup. Past Masterman says it was the Fox. Yeah, that it was the Fox deal. That's why they got the rights to the Fantastic Four. DEI is really working on Sports Illustrated. Yes. Overthinking it again. Yeah, this is the map. Follow the blueprints, ladies and gentlemen. This is the map how to make Marvel movies. Yep. Wodan. Yep. Absolutely. One of my favorite characters in all of mythology and comic books. Hey, RJ Williams. Happy Sunday, nerds. Yep. People saying hello. Odin, I would draw the heck out of that. I already offered it to you, Nick. I'm signing in. Got a nod to Odin in mine as well. Yeah, Nick, you are my go-to guy for my Odin comic if things go well. Got a note to Odin in mine as well. Oh, a Siege Perilous. I see you got. Oh, that's the Tolkien's tree. Why can't I think of the name of the tree? But type in the name of your comic book. Give yourself a shout out. Give yourself a shout out. In the early days of these characters, the creators still figured out their powers. They realized Hulk being able to turn trajectory yeah. Again, Dave Brink, for a European, he knows his American comics really well. So now I want to point this out right here. Do you see how this blue and this blue kind of match, and it almost makes them blur together? Like you think this tree is part of these motion lines. That was a little, if you ask me, that was a little error on the color theory, because the colorist probably didn't get this page at the same time or whatever, or just goofed up. But you see how the main color here is blue, but even though it's the same blue, it's obviously separated by this. And then we got the yellow for no reason. And then what is this, like grayish purple? You could see right over here, same backgrounds. And what does it do? It kind of smears those two panels together. Now, just imagine you're looking at these two pages and all the backgrounds were logically colored the same shade of blue for the sky. You wouldn't be able to differentiate anything. It would just be, what's the word that I always say? A melange. It would be just a soup, and your eyes would get mixed up. And this is something that they did in a lot of the early Image comics. They it made sense. You wanted to be logical. You wanted to be consistent. It's a rookie, amateur, understandable mistake to color the backgrounds the same color, because they're walking in the desert. They're walking in the same castle. They're walking in the whatever. So the backgrounds kind of it's logical. So you got to be, why is the sky yellow? Because the sky's yellow, because it's a comic book, and it's one of those odd little comic book things. So what Loki is animating, Loki, what powers does Loki have? Whatever powers are needed to tell an exciting story. And I think Marcus told me this, and it's going to be something I'm going to be repeating a lot. When you're in comic books, you want to go for believability, not realism. Marcus, you said that, right? That is absolutely 100% accurate. So Thor's doing this dynamic thing, spinning the hammer. Where'd this boat come from? He's got a boat. He's going to this villain lair, and lava bubbles, why? Because Thor hasn't been fighting the Hulk. So Thor's got, he's got to be doing some cool stuff on his own. And I think part of this reason is Thor at this point is super powerful. He would beat the Hulk real easy at this point. So I think this is just great storytelling on Jack Kirby, that he had Thor not be in the main fight with the Hulk, because it would just be, there's no need for Iron Man, Ant-Man, or the Wasp. You know what I mean? It would just be Hulk Thor show. So this is a brilliant way of giving, you have a team book. Richard Meyer, your boy Zach, always says, if your name is on the cover of the book, you got to have a moment. You got to have your moment of being cool. And when you have a team book, you got to give everybody a chance to be cool. And that's exactly what they're doing. This, Thor's underwater here. Loki is, look at that. He's just menacing. Water spouts. I love this panel, throwing the hammer. And what does he do? He ducks, and then he makes ice. And little, the hammer smashes through the ice through this little hole. There should have been a sound effect over here, if you ask me, because many times I was confused because it looks like the hammer's on Loki's side of the ice, and then he has it, and then he's smashing it. But there's a little hole over here. There should have been a sound effect to clarify that. And I love this silhouette. It just increases drama. And then this panel, I love the next panel. Okay, I'll flip the page and address. Look at that horrible, freaky, disgusting troll. Okay. Overshadow the hell out of it. I assume you're talking about that panel that I talked about, the color. What if the Hulk is mad at his current direction? Then he just gets stronger in the wrong direction. Crom the Destroyer. Why is Marcus putting Crom the Destroyer in the link? Because Nick Axe, who's in the chat, and he was by Marcus, a human being named Crom, and Nick and Marcus and myself, we had an improvised chat on Friday night. Nick is a great guy. Marcus is a great guy. And he is the artist on this project. Back it. This is RJ from the Fourth Age is writing it, and Nick Axe. I think he's one of two artists. Correct me, or three artists. I forgot about Mike Gustovich. Hulk Smash. Yes. Thanks for the offer. Not ready to rumble yet. How? Okay, Siege. When you're ready, hit me up in the DMs and we'll and come on the channel and we'll talk about your comic. Does Bruce Banner count as mad science? Yes, he does. He's making freaking bombs that create monsters. Come on, that is a no-brainer. You're making bombs that create monsters. You are a mad scientist. Whereas Reed Richards is creating machines that help humanity, so he's a glad scientist. I'm not sure that was me, but thanks. Okay, well, okay, but I thought it was you. I see Banner working with Reed pre-powers and everything. It's Reed's fault. Blame Reed Richards. That's what what would Dr. Doom do? We'll say the nod in regards to Odin's Eye and how. We'll say the nod is regards. Oh, okay. So look at this freaking troll, and it's a good thing the troll is wearing underwear because we don't really want to see the troll's hammer. But look at this face. Oh God! And what does Thor do? He smashes the freaking troll and then blasts it with lightning. How dare it be controlled by an evil genius? And then because he did the lightning, it's storming out. Thor's getting a little miffed, and Loki is not there. It's just an image. Grog grows his own tail. This was a plastic toy. You put like a pellet inside here, and you put water in his back or his mouth, and the water, as the pellet absorbs the water, this spongy material grows. And then we sell grit. Get bags of money or rob banks. That's it. I think that rob banks and sell grit. Oh, look at this. Fantastic Four Annual #1. This is just reestablishing that the Submariner is a badass. And I love the early appearance of the Submariner where he looked Asian. Just he looked, and I think Bill Everett drew him like that originally. Bill Everett was the creator of the Submariner. And the Submariner has the distinction of being, let's face it, a lot of Marvel creations came, after the like DC came first, and then Marvel kind of like Quicksilver is like a second generation Flash and things like that. But the Submariner was first. Aquaman was the copy of a Marvel character. Submariner and the original Human Torch were the first two Marvel superheroes. Matter of fact, they both debuted in a comic called Marvel Comics #1 back when what was it called? National was DC, but this was I forget. Was it Atlas Comics back then? That because Marvel Comics used to be called Atlas Comics, and Fantastic Four was officially the first Marvel comic when the company changed its name, but it didn't say Marvel Comics on the actual issue. Timely. Thank you. Timely. Why didn't I know that? I mean, I did know that, but I forgot it. So here we got Jack Kirby drawing Spider-Man again. Look how awful that is. We got Dr. Doom over here. This is just great. So let's address some of the comments. Thank you. We'll be October-ish this year. Okay. You got an open invitation, and I'm bad about remembering things, so you DM me. Small Thor's hammer. It's funny that you say that because in mythology, when they were making Thor's hammer, uh, it was it yeah, Loki caused the dwarf whose name is escaping me. He Loki transformed into a bee and stung the dwarf. So the dwarf recoiled his hand, pulling the hammer out of the forge, and the handle was too small. So it it's supposed to be like a two-handed weapon, like a sledgehammer, but it became a one-handed weapon because Loki messed up with it. So yeah, Bruce Banner's not a man. He's just yeah. Bruce isn't a man. He's an angry scientist. He's a bipolar scientist. Thank you. You said rock bag. Thought you said rock bags. Loki being even more of a troll than an actual troll. Yes, yes. Bought that, and you bought this annual, this Fantastic Four annual. Timely, you are being reminded. They did such a bad job with Submariner in the latest Black Panther movie. I didn't even see it. I didn't even see it. If you're embarrassed by the source material, don't use the source material. Namor is seeped in Roman, history. Namor is Roman spelled backwards. He worships Poseidon. He says Imperious Rex. He's the Atlantis is influenced by Roman culture. If you're embarrassed by the Western world, don't use a character that is based on. I'm just so. This is one of your pride joys. I totally hear you. I totally hear you. Stan Lieber. Yes, that was Stan Lee's real name, Stan Lieber. He changed it to Stan Lee because he changes the story. He says that he wanted to save his real name for his great American novel. I think he changed it to Stan Lee because of comic books were considered low class trash at the time, and then later on he changed the story. But I'm not there, so I'll give Stan Lee the credit. Yes, it was Timely Comics, Atlas, and then Marvel. Absolutely. I have a few Atlas books. Yes. Yeah, they made Namor cocaine. Yeah. So they make up a new character. That's not Namor. That's not Namor. It's just so stupid. Marvel Comics wasn't officially Marvel until 1969 when it was sold to Perfect Chemicals. Oh, okay. There you go. I didn't know that. And then we got all of these. I love these ads. So now Thor doesn't know which one of these images is the actual Loki. So he creates a fan and blows them away, which I call BS on because they're images. None of them should move, and that should give away, but maybe they have a little bit of mass. So he finds the actual Loki, and then Thor, what does Thor do? Thor pulls power out of his butt and uses his new power. He absorbs all the magnetic radiation from the Earth, which is Asgard, so maybe it's magic science, and then he charges his hammer up with magnetic energy and attracts Loki, so he's now steadfast stuck to his hammer. Cut back to Earth, and we got the Hulk flying around, and then Iron Man, getting into a path of a passenger plane, which is really a big deal. Now, what does Hulk do? He's going to a factory where they're making tires, and I love this. They're throwing tires at him, and Ant-Man and the Wasp are messing with the machine. So tires. So what does Hulk do? He gets his hands into the machine. Don't do this at home, folks. Don't stick your hands into the machinery unless you have gamma-powered muscles. And he uses a tire to fire this gear at Iron Man. I love that. He smashes it, and what does he do? He makes this fork and traps the Hulk into the wall. So Hulk pushes back. This is just a great action sequence. Why is this dark blue? Again, to break up all the color. I love it. I love it. And now he's over here like menacing the Hulk. Notice Iron Man is not shooting repulsor rays and stuff. Like, I think this is too soon. He didn't have that much technology. Iron Man is a perfect example of, I don't mind him getting more and more powers because it's just technological. And look at this panel. What a great panel. And then what's he doing? He's explaining how Loki used everybody, and Hulk is like, he's using his power, his full glory to impress everybody. And, because he's Loki, he's always scheming and scamming. And, he's falling. Why is he falling? Because Ant-Man and the Wasp open up a trapdoor, which makes him, fall and then go 190-degree bend, where he falls into a furnace, and the ants shut the door, and Loki is trapped. And they're all like, "Sorry, Hulk, we didn't trust you. We should have trusted you, but we didn't know." And like, let's form a team. And it's like, yeah, let's form a team. And he's like, puny humans, I'm sick of listening. So right over here, this could be something colorful and dramatic like the Avengers. No or nothing. It's the Avengers. So Ant-Man and the Wasp named the Avengers. And now these are the founders. These are the founders of the Avengers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Later on, they've issue number 4, Captain America. They find Captain America, take him out of the ice, and he joins. And then issue number 2, Hulk leaves. Hulk quits the Avengers in issue number 2. And they repeal Hulk's status as a founder and give it to Captain America, which is kind of crummy, but whatever. And then we got this. We got Toy Soldiers over here. The back cover, which was written on. So there we got the team. Okay. Sorry about moving the camera around, but there we go. So let's leave it on this. We'll talk a bit, and as normal, we will continue talking as long as people want to talk. So let's scroll back. Let's scroll back to where everybody. Yes, I wonder how many people just hearing the name thought it was Stan. I did. I thought his name was Stanley. I thought his name was Stanley for a long time. I thought it was misspelled Stanley. Because stupid kids. Get John's Heroic Tales beer glass at John's Long Box, Yahoo. Yep, here we go. Look at that. It's a little dirty because I was drinking out of it last night. I had to taste it. I had to taste test. This is my personal one, so yours will not be drinking out of. It's funny because my friend Jimmy was like, "Oh, I'll buy one," and he went to take this one, and his wife was like, "It's filthy." I'm like, "Jimmy, I got more. I'll give you a clean one." Says, "Yes, I promise. If you PayPal me $20, and again, since I'm a horrible salesman, these cost me $7 to make, so I'm charging $10, and then I got to charge $10 for shipping. So if you live near me and I could put one in your hand, it's only $10. But if I have to send it through the mail, it's $20. Apologize, but whatever. Again, I'm a terrible salesman. Sorry, Nick. Nick is the one who's busted my chops for being a bad salesman. Marvel's real catchphrase should have been buyer beware. Yes, absolutely. What we know today was Timely Atlas Marvel is a collection of 50 companies still all owned by Martin Goodman. They began branding as Marvel in 1962. Okay. See, I love this. Between Marcus and Kevin, I will get all the information that I didn't know. The reason we think of Golden Age Marvels as Timely is because Goodman put a label on them which read a Timely comic as a plug. Oh, okay. I didn't know that either. It also works to explain why Iron Man loses power if it's in a different. Yeah, right. And I do like the idea that Anthony Stark, not Tony Stark. I do like that Anthony Stark has different suits of armor for different needs. He's going to fight the Mole Man. He's going to wear a burrowing suit of armor. He's going to go into space. He's got a space armor. He's got the stealth armor. I like that. That fits Iron Man. That fits Iron Man so well. I love that. I love that. Let's be independent together. Puny humans, gotta love it. Yes, puny humans. A wax pencil, yes. They had these wax pencils to write on. It drives me nuts. Yes, this is a nice copy. Thank you, Flyer. Thank you. Classy, me? Yes, I'm always classy, even when I'm picking my nose right now and you can't see. Oh, a classy cover. Oh, okay. Hulk looks like rubber. Yeah. We need John's Heroic beer goggles as an item. There you go. So, what we do, once we got 10 viewers who have pint glasses, I will invite all 10 of us on because that's all Steam could get. And we will all have a group beer together. How's that? First 10 people to show me that they got, to get, we'll come on a group chat together and we'll all have a beer. How's that? Press that cover. Do you mean actually iron it? As you can see, I just started hearing about that like maybe a year or two ago, and Pete Samedi was talking about it, but I am too scared to do it. I will have to do it on like a bull crap IDW had the Antos Star Trek comic or something like that, but if anybody could direct me to any information about that kind of stuff, I'm kind of interested in it. I'm in no hurry to do it though. Yeah, Goodman was a publishing magnate. Yes. Bong rips and booger picks. Oh wow, that might be that Past Mastodon. Come on my channel, and that will be the name of the episode. Bong rips. It'll be 1 hour of us, me and Past Mastodon, doing bong rips and picking our noses. How is that? That is, Ethan Van Sciver is doing the Trash Cast where he gets 2,000 viewers. Bong rips and booger picks will get 4,000 viewers. How's that? 4,000. And Nick, are you still in the chat? Nick, hit like, hit subscribe. Remember, I take super chats. He's telling me I got to start saying all this stuff at the end of each video. Anything else anybody want to talk about? Next week. Oh, Nick is still here. Good job, Nick. Thank you, Nick. Next week, for Sunday Comics, I still want to keep this format going, talking about older comics. So I guess next week will be X-Men #1. How's that? Since they came out on the same day, we'll talk about X-Men #1. So that'll be next week's episode. Another Stan and Jack masterpiece, the X-Men. Let's talk comics. Absolutely. Always talk comics. Dick Ayers inked the cover and often used a #6 brush on Kirby. Of course, the originals were okay. Again, this is the kind of stuff I love. I love it. Why does Marcus know this stuff? He's a comic book artist himself. So, who was I talking about when they were talking about they had to use a light box? I had no idea what a light box is. I was like, I didn't understand it at first, but then I saw a video about it. So I love that. I don't really know the technical aspects of being a comic book artist. Like when you guys talk about pencils and inks, I'm kind of fascinated because it's something I should know about. It's something that I emotionally understand, but I don't really intellectually understand, if that makes sense. Even in the 70s, Marvel magazines were published as Curtis due to Chip Goodman. Okay, I didn't know that. I love these little facts. I like the interaction of Hulk and Spider-Man and crossover. Yeah, Spider-Man to me, Peter Parker has always been like a more compassionate hero. Iron Man, Thor, Reed Richards, all these guys have always been like men of action, whereas Peter Parker to me has always been like a little more like forgiving and compassionate is the only way I could describe it. Yes, I've always seen the Curtis symbol and I didn't know what it meant. Alternative Comics just launched a new campaign on Indiegogo. Yes. I backed last night. I watched the launch stream. You get 2 issues of Unit 44. You get issue 3 of Horace H. Hoover and the new issue of Blood Realm. Wolf and Batsy, Brian Bow has went off on his own, and he will be launching. And I've already seen it. He's already got the comics printed. They look outstanding. So as soon as he announces his campaign, I will be, I got no problems helping out everybody else. I got no jealousy. A rising tide floats all boats, and let's just have fun comics, right? Marcus says he uses a light box. I use a litter box, Marcus. Even in the 1970s, Marvel Black and White were Curtis studio. Okay. You could study the subject of comic. Yes, absolutely. Which brings me to this. I got this just yesterday, an old beat up copy of All in Color for a Dime. I had a talk with Randy Zimmerman, and he was telling me that it's a must read for people like myself who are obsessed with comics. So I will be reading that. Saw Curtis a lot at Kmart. Okay. The actual Curtis, like Curtis Connors, the lizard. So, oh, sweet. We got sweet. So, what do you guys think of this format? Do you like the idea of me doing? I'm really digging this. I thank you for 25 people in the chat. I'm really digging showing these older comics. If you are so inclined, you could look back at my playlists. I have Avengers #1, Fantastic Four. I did videos on them. I've been doing this now for a little over 3 years, and I naively thought that if I just took out the big guns and made videos on them, that I would be launched into super stratus superstar status in YouTube comic book world. Those videos got like 6 views. Why? Because nobody knew who I was, and they're terrible. So just, if anybody is so inclined, go check out my Fantastic Four #1, my Avengers #1 YouTube. You know, they're either in their own groups of Marvel. They're either in I made playlists, so they're either in the Marvel playlist, the Jack Kirby playlist, the or Avengers, Fantastic Four, the subcategories of the titles. And you'll hear me talking like this and not knowing what to say, and out of focus because I shot them on my phone and I didn't know what I was doing. And one of my friends, Paul, was like, "I can't watch your videos; they're terrible." Not that they're good now. I don't know how to edit. Similar, I know it looks good, but not necessarily why. I'm a writer, though. Okay, Siege, you understand. Not an artist. Learning all the art theories so I'm capable of having a reasonable conversation with a professional. Well, I have conversations with professional artists. Whether or not I'm reasonable or not is not for me to decide. But I'm with you. I've always wanted to be a writer, even as a little kid. Once I learned to read, and once I got, I in 3rd grade I couldn't read, and then by the end of 3rd grade I could read, and it's all because of comic books. And during 3rd grade, I told myself I wanted to write comic books. So good art will get me to buy a comic book. Good writing will keep me buying that comic book. And even if the art starts to suffer, if the art isn't that good, I will still buy a comic if the writing is that good. If the art is outstanding and the writing is terrible, I will drop the comic, and I have dropped the comic. So I'm with you, Siege Perilous. I like to think, like when I'm talking to Renzo and hopefully talking to Marcus and hopefully talking to Nick about art, I'd like to think that I could picture the panels, I could describe the panels, but I just can't draw. I cannot draw the panels. If you saw the crummy scribbles that I send to Renzo for character designs, you will laugh. I might. Brian Bow of Wolf and Batsy fame gave me an idea. He said, save all those pictures and put them, like when I make a trade paperback, when I get 6 issues out, make a trade paperback and you know, put them as extra materials, like the making of the comic. So thank you for that comment. Just don't call it Marvel Spotlight. None of the Marvel superheroes were superheroes. Parker was a wannabe wrestler. Reed Richards was a scientist explorer. Thor was a god. Yeah. They were real. That was Stan Lee's thing. Make it more realistic. And nowadays, you know, when we look at this, I was not a Jack Kirby fan when I was a kid. I started collecting comics in 1975, I'll say. And by that point, Stan was at DC, and Jack Kirby was at DC, and I wouldn't touch DC Comics with a 10-foot pole. So Jack Kirby to me was old-fashioned art. So I can understand how, like, people who got into comics in the 90s, say, would look back at Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko, and John Buscema and think it was old-fashioned. You know, I can understand that. But I grew to love and not only admire, but like revere Jack Kirby's artwork and the man himself. So when I look, you know, when you look at this, I can see how people would think it's hokey, unrealistic. But at the time, this was light years more realistic than what any other comic book company was doing. Where am I on the comments? Okay. Love the format for Sunday Comics. Thank you, Pete. Yep. Showing off my big guns. You know me. Which Way to the Gun show. I like the Sunday shows. I used to watch Super Fun Sundays on Richard Friend's channel every Sunday, but I think that show's on hiatus. Oh, okay. Thank you for watching my channel. Thank you for commenting. You know, I also don't want to take away from anybody else. You know, it's all supposed to be fun, you know, and I don't want to be involved in the drama. I hear about the drama behind this, you know, face to face or one-on-one. I will comment on the drama, but I'm not into the drama. I'm not into it. So how we doing? We winding down? All right. 6 more minutes. We'll go to an hour and a half. Anybody want to say anything? Oh, thank you. See you Tuesday. Yes. Devil Flyer, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Devil Flyer Momentum and I will have a conversation. Wednesday at 7. I will have who's my Wednesday talk. Oh, geez. I do know that I will do comic book team up on my channel this week at 8:30. That will be with me, RJ, and Pete Smeddy. But who is my regular Wednesday talk? Oh, Gabe El Taib, but he's changing. So I probably have an opening Wednesday at 7 p.m. if anybody wants to talk. Gabe, he realized, so he's going to switch. I haven't had people switching, and now all of a sudden I got everybody switching. And then Friday, I will have. Of course, I hit the wrong button on my. On Friday, I will have Mark Polton. Mark Polton, he just did Coney Waves. That's gonna be Mark Polton to me is I'm really excited. I'm also excited about Devil Fire Momentum. He ain't no what do they say, chop liver. I'm unlucky that I have full pages pop into my head, so I'm checking my mental pictures against the rules, so to speak. I'm glad that you said that. That's an interesting comment. I wrote the script to issue number 2 of Heroic Tales a couple of years ago, and it was terrible. It was my first attempt to write a comic book script, and it was too much, too fast, too soon, too many panels, a lot of talking heads. So I got discouraged, and I didn't do anything for like a year. And then RJ started talking about Will Eisner's book, Sequential Art, and panel and how like perfect example right here. Loki, prepare for battle. The Avengers, I'll destroy you. That's it. Each panel, a statement, a reaction to the statement. And that's kind of been the way I've been working on. And it really helped. It really helped. And then he's talking about like, if the next panel, if we were to be if we were see from the back, you'd have to have Thor on this side, Hulk would be in the middle, Iron Man would be, just for continuity's sake, like treat it like a 3D model in your head and rotate. So and then it became fun to write comics. So now I tell myself 5 panels a page. So that's my standard. If, unless I have some, a splash page, which would be one, and then, and it's really fun. You guys tell me when my comic comes out. I've been doing the format. So I put issue number 2 on the back burner because to me it was too much, too fast. It was world building the comic, and so I bumped up another idea of the Patriarch, and I did that issue first because I think it is just a wonderful introduction to my comic, to my world, to my characters, to my view on comics. And then issue 2 will be the one that I originally planned for number 1. And I think, that's just the way everything is work in progress. Your first impulse isn't exactly the best way. So whatever. Yeah. Now I'm gushing over myself. DC Comics all the time. Rel. I don't understand. I miss Super Fun Sunday, but this is great. Thank you, David. Alicia, did I say your name right? See you soon. Okay, you're going? All right. Yeah, I'm going to go too. Was it somewhere near Florida? Somewhere near Florida? I missed this. The DC Comics at the time were more quiet, had really no action fights. Yes, was it Marcus or was it Kevin that told me that they weren't allowed to punch each other? So it was like, solving riddles and everything like that. Oh, word. No drama, just comic. Absolutely. Absolutely. I am human and I do comment on drama every once in a while, especially when I have a guest, because I think the audience is smart enough to understand that if I have, Phil Moskowitz on my channel, his viewpoints and what he says isn't me. And we're all above that. You're platforming bad people. No, you come on my channel. It's a discussion. You say what you want. I don't censor your language. I don't particularly curse too much, but if you curse, that's up to you. And you guys are smart enough to understand that this is a conversation, and disagreements are fun. Disagreements clear the air. Disagreements and friend, I'm not talking about, come on my channel and I insult you. Like I said this a million times, Kelly Sue DeConnick, Heather Antos, these people are welcomed on my channel. And if you're keeping it civil, we could disagree. We could talk about everything. And as long as you're not getting personal and nasty, I will disagree. I will state my point and I won't get personal and nasty. That's fun. And then you guys, past Master Dan's not going to be like, he had Heather Antos on his channel. He must agree with her. No, we're adults here. Martin Goodman used multiple publishing corporations because he got in trouble for reprinting stories with the FTC in the 30s. So, okay. That also happened to Charlton, if I remember, except the guy who owned Charlton actually went to jail for that. If I may, John, you do have the words first or the pictures in your head. Good question. Good question. I think I have the pictures in my head first. I have the pictures in my head first. When I was writing, because when I looked at the script for issue number 2, it was terrible. Like I said, I didn't write a comic book script for like a year after that. It was that bad. And before I rewrote issue number 2, I wrote issue number 1, and I had the pictures in my head, and then I put the words. So yeah, I never thought of that until you made me ask. Until you asked me. By the way, John Goodman published pulp magazines in the 30s, which included comic ads like Human Torch. You could buy them for $30. Okay, Marvel Science Stories. Interesting. Another thing I didn't know. For those of you who don't know, pulp magazines or pulps were the precursors to comics. Like pulp heroes were like the Phantom or the Operator or the Spider or Doc Savage. The Shadow. Shadow's probably the most famous. And what they were prose stories, and every once in a while you would have a painted picture, really, really cool. Tarzan, Conan was a good one. The pulp. H.P. Lovecraft was published in pulp magazines, and the covers were like salacious. Women laying on a table getting tied down with the pendulum ready to chop them in half. And before that, there was Penny Dreadfuls. So that's like a short little history of the evolution of comic books. I believe that both sides need representation. Yes, I'm all for a discussion. I have a guest. I'm lining up a guest. No spoilers. That it'll turn into a discussion of disagreement. Let's leave it at that. If it does pop up, it's annoying when people just assume 100% agree. Yes. Everybody in this chat right over here, I think for the grand picture we agree, but there's going to be no two human beings agree on everything, and it's how you say it. That you could say anything you want. It's how you say it. That's the important thing. Charlton was a money laundering operation for the mob. Yeah, that's what I heard. That's what I heard. That's funny. Agreed about Charlton. My grandparents lived down the street from Charlton. Yeah. It's funny because I went to my buddy Sean. We went to Connecticut to visit some girl that he was seeing, and I went with him as the third wheel. And she had a friend, and that was a disaster. The less I say about that, the better. And so we were walking down the street, and I look at this building, and it said Charlton Press on it. I'm like, is this the Charlton Comics building? She's like, I don't know. I'm like, how long have you lived here? Girl lived down the block her entire life. Didn't realize that it was the Charlton Press building. So, that little bit of comic book history. I remember you saying that, Kevin. Yeah. So there you go, everybody. I'm gonna cut out. I think I want to take my wife out to breakfast. It's just been cold, and she works from home, and she doesn't. You don't want to leave. It's you just home snug. You don't want to leave. So I think just to get out of the house, we're gonna go out for breakfast. We'll go to Lucia's. If anybody comes to Suffolk County near Smithtown, and you want to get great food, it's an El Salvadorian place. Oh my God, it's the best food. That best food. This woman is cooking with a smile on her face, making the best bacon and eggs. Oh, it's so good. Get myself hungry. But thanks a lot, everybody. Thank you so much. Get a Heroic Tales pint glass. It makes your beer taste better. I will be announcing information about my comic book launch on my Substack. If you could sign up for the Substack, just scroll up. I'll try to find it one more time before we go. Scrolling up. You can't have, like, when you do these, you can't have. Oh, well, Nick Axe is the artist on Crom the Destroyer. Go check it out. Can't go wrong, man. Does he draws the sexiest women, and it's funny because the Odin story. Oh yeah, there's some women in it. Sign up for Devil Flyer Momentum. He's doing the same thing I'm doing, making an email list. And why can't I find the link to my Substack? Okay, well, it's in there. Superman was named Clark Savage. Duck. Yep. After the two. Yes. So this is not just a gift for the men, it's a gift for the ladies too, if you get what I'm saying. So, thank you, Zarkan. You were probably dating my cousin Maureen. That make me laugh. But I wasn't dating anybody. I just met them and it was that bad. But thanks a lot, everybody. Thanks a lot. It's a blast. Please like, please subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. And remember, Super Chats help, and every dollar of Super Chats goes towards making a comic book, not towards Lucia's breakfast. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. All right. See you a lot, everybody. And I'm going to record another What You're Reading video, and then Tuesday's video will be me and Devil Flyer Momentum. Thanks a lot. Hey, Nix, how did I do? Did I do better? Thank you. Cheers, everybody. Bye-bye.